this entire season, but their only in-game loss did actually come to Rats with Bats in their 3-game set at the beginning of the season. It's gonna be interesting to see how this like goes. And obviously,
Yeah, the biggest thing with Davies Delinquents versus Rats with Bats is that Davies Delinquents has a pretty consistent season so far, going 5-0, and across the board, I have to say the level of gameplay that we've seen from each and every one of them has been very consistent. We know Gamer's probably going to play something that's more in the backline, more trying to peel. We know J Feather has a pretty eclectic god pool when it comes to what he's willing to play in the jungle role, and let's say that with Scarred, it's most likely going to be probably at least Jingwei, if not Hoi.
we see how Bats made to the top one. But yeah, Rats with Bats on the other side, I mean, they put the W in their name to their game style too. They're a team that will love to run you down. Just every single person on their team wants to just keep W-king at you, whether it's on the Uller or like a Bracken just chasing you from the jungle roll. But we actually see the Hunt Bats though come from the jungle roll, which I'm actually surprised that came through these first few sets of bans. Usually he's just always banned out in his top 6.
Yeah, the Shibalanke ban in the first stage is really interesting because you're leaving open so much that can be not very well countered. I would say Shibalanke, the ultimate's very strong, don't get me wrong, as well as the lane pressure, but at the same time, if you're picking something like we see here, like the Uller, and obviously pairing that with a Horus, it seems as though Shibalanke is not going to be able to fight against that as well as you would like, just because of the fact that the dash can actually be countered if this Uller can hit the axe prematurely, like anticipating the dash coming out. But there also is the Yemoja that I was really hoping I would see coming out of Davies Delinquents, but I'm not so opposed as the Horse being picked up with this Uller. We've seen that consistency coming out of Gamer, so why would you want to, fix what's not broken?
Yeah, but one thing interesting though, I do have to say is that typically you do see Scar in the Shablanca himself, but taking the Uber pick, that actually might go to Red Hawk. I mean, outside of this league, Red Hawk plays ADC, and he can easily play these ADCs mid, and Uller is certainly one of them. Sort of like a Paul at like Godbowl. We see the OE coming out for Control, or actually, yeah, Control 8, which is not too much of a surprise. I believe we've seen him on that god 3 different times. He loves this OE pick.
And the Hoi versus Uller matchup, I love the Hoi. It's level 5, but beforehand, it's such a huge toss-up for me just because of the fact that Uller is meant to bring the aggression. Uller is meant to not be even, but be ahead and keep that pressure in the lane. And once Crit is able to, or Central is able to get to this level 5 and beyond, he's actually got a really good ultimate that he can play around that can definitely nullify a lot of the presence that Uller's going to be able to provide within the laning phase. They can easily go for objectives, they can sneak them, they can burn them, they can zone off an entire team fight. And especially considering the fact that when you're going against Poseidon and Uller, they are those types of characters that want to be all in. They want to be extremely aggressive. But at least now you've got the Yemoja ultimate on top of the Suns that can really try and dissuade a lot of this forward pressure that Davies Delinquents is trying to push with here.
Indeed, but I mean, one thing that's always we gotta point out in this season is that the duo side of the map is always brawling out. Always, I mean, at all points in the game early on, someone's at half health or less, and with a combo like Horus and Uller, that could spell disaster for the opposite side of the duo side, where they could easily find some picks early on and maybe snowball out of control. And with that Poseidon being picked, of course, that does lock in the Uller for the AC lane. We see Sun Wukong being banned out. That's most likely a target ban towards Cog9 as God pull.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see the Sun Wukong and the Shibalanke band out, only because these are characters that really can be played against. They don't necessarily excel extremely in one place or another. They're definitely well rounded, but I would have liked to see more towards trying to ban out what could be possibly within the solo lane that can actually counter out this Horus, can counter out this Poseidon, because again, those are two characters that for the most part have their own sense of mobility, but can again also be very easily CC'd and locked down. So I have a little bit of worry of what could possibly be picked in the soul lane against them. But at the same time, I want to ask, without J Feather being here this week, because clearly Angry Zombies is going to be their replacement for this week, what do you see possibly going into that jungle role?
Probably something more safe, simply something like Ravana. especially into on bats, you just have that kick flip and that ultimate get out, that CC chain that they have. But what I was going to mention before, though, is that the Sobek hasn't been picked yet, and we do see it being picked up by Davies Delinquents here. Which, I mean, Sobek, with that little buff, has just risen into, like, the very top end of the meta, and a lot of these tank picks in this league, or frontline picks in this league, the solos and supports love the Sobek pick. Just a very safe and very good option for most teams. We see the Aphrodite come out as well, doubling down the extra healing, but it's very interesting to see an Aphrodite here, I think. I mean, it does work very well. You just ult someone who's getting Kraken and you nullify that whole entire combo, but would like to see another mid laner, possibly someone who can just follow up off of all the CC off of Hunt Bats.
Yeah, and the Aphrodite pick is good and slightly problematic here, just because you're looking at the Afro versus the Sobek. If this is going to be possibly an Afro solo, right, then the fear that you could have, and it actually is this. So the fear that I have here is that the Sobek can counter out the Aphrodite so well. Obviously, with the anti-heal, and there's not a lot of gank potential that I see out of Afro Hoonbots against a Sobek, just because he doesn't really care. He can ult, he can go into Lurking Waters, he can obviously dash himself away. If he so happens to plaque a minion or another person, he can get that CC immunity for that nice little frame. So it's going to be really interesting to see what type of pressure they want to put across the map, because right now I'm seeing it so much transitioning into the mid lane and into the dual lane.
Indeed, but we see the Ratatosker being picked last, and I mean, Ratatosker's always going to be a strong jungler, especially with that Acorn and just how it works, giving him 50 power, where he can basically be right at the Gold Fury and rotate right off of that power spike. They gotta be careful. They gotta place wards in that Gold Fury pit, like I always say most teams to do when you have these semi-global ultimates on the gods like the Rat or the Thor, or even the Thanatos that we see actually pretty often in this league. But
very true, and just as we're slowly going to load in here, I definitely want to take note how absolutely crazy it is of a draft that Rats with Bats was able to get out with here. And I would love to hear what our casters have to say about that. On the desk, you're going to have Game Fan and Nox, but our casters tier 1 and tier 2 is going to be Jinx and Viz.
All right, going into the game here, I'm joined by Viz. Now, looking at the picks, following off of what the analyst has said, I do like the team comp that Rats with Bats have got away with, especially with the top-end picks coming into the ADC support and solo primarily. What are your thoughts there, Viz?
I mean, the Emoja Hoombats are two really strong picks, but I mean, I think Sobek and Uller are very strong in their own right, along with just like Gamer Shred. I think Emoja gets shut down very easily by their CC comps. Like Rat, like all five of their gods have CC. They can just blow up the Emoja, and with the Emoja dead, there's not much besides a Hoombats that really going to control a team fight. So I think if I'm Davies, I focus the Emoja and go from there. Rat's just got to play their team game. Like, that's all. Like, their team fight is so strong if they can just stay together.
And also with the prot shred that Davies Delinquents do bring with the Rat percentage shred and the Horus for that prot shred as well, like they can easily take down a tank.
It's like
or the only tank.
Loaded in. And also, there is only one tank on the side of Rats. So I mean, I see both teams. They need to get a cursed on. Like, for I like the Emoja.
I like the combo potential coming out from Rats with Bats here. They had, like I mentioned in the picks and fans, with the emoji roll, it could go into the Huyi Suns, especially with the Humbats ult as well. They do have a lot of combo potential with big AoE ults. However, the picks like into picking the Yamoja, like if Horus has enough time, he can easily like ult out of the Yamoja ult and save his Poseidon, for example. And with Sobek having that built-in anti-heal into the Afro and the Yamoja. However, if Rats with Bats do manage to like focus their sustain around the Sobek or around the anti-heal that the other team may eventually purchase, then they usually they have an easy advantage just to sustain themselves in fights.
What I'm curious about is who's going to burn the beads on the side of Rats with Bats? Because Yamoja can get certain beads. Disco can get beads, but like it's inconsistent. Like you're going to need someone to pull those beads for the Hoombats to get that kill, get that ult off. As if they're not going to be able to burn the beads, they're just going to keep just having beads up, and Hoombats is just going to fall flat.
Yeah, seeing that the Horus has gone for Blink and the Yamoja has gone for the Shell in the support role as well. Horus looking to get the more aggressive side coming out of that dual lane.
can see Horus blinking on level 1. I mean, we saw what they did in the SPL with Vote today. Just
yeah, it's very high potential.
Like Horus Uller, probably one of the highest kill lanes out there.
Nice to see that the Aphrodite has also gone very safe. The Aegis as well picked up for a relic slot.
I think she's just playing for that late game fight. She's not trying to do anything but farm in that lane.
Yes. Looking like lovely field, nice the stun comes out from Horus there for the return Moonstrike from Yamoja, stuns him out. Oh, a lot of poke does come onto him as well.
Not as soft as it looks.
Just Yamoja with that just built-in Omi and the ability swap she can have. She just has that potential to push them back and gain pressure.
She's pressure.
Yeah, if they're heading too first, there's another two. Horus managed to get that kill second for the little stone. The axe does come a little bit off the mark, but still, Horus does have quite a little bit of poke there.
A few missed abilities and just gonna walk away, go farm up. Looks like Davies does have mid-camp pressure as of... And
they're going to go for the Alpha Harpy here. I think Horus was looking over there, but I think they're just going to go and focus away first.
Rats could be in trouble if they got through that way. Just try to base tank it.
Yeah. Yeah, some pressure comes out onto the Yamoja there. The stun and the bladed arrow. Oh, the glory bound leap comes out from the Moonstrike, stuns him away. He's still full health, applying a lot of poke from his dive bomb and Ricochet there.
Just want to see from your hunter.
Looking like the focus has been on the supports there in Drill Lane as well.
I mean, both supports, like, if one of them gets ahead, that's a wrap. They're just trying to stop the other.
Yeah.
It's just applying pressure to that Yamoja.
I think what Yamoja's doing as well is just like throwing that Oni out there as soon as she gets the opportunity to, just to keep that pressure going. Using the bouncing bubbles and the Moonstrike to just keep them at bay with the slows and the stuns.
So far this game, both teams are farming pretty equally too. 1200 gold apiece. 12,000.
Yeah, both junglers being quiet, but I think they're waiting for their level 5 potential, as both junglers do have really high potential ultimates.
If I'm that rat though, I know I have a stronger level 1 through 4 than that Humbats. I'd try to look for just any kind of pressure to force that Humbats.
There we go. As you just saw, he put his Acorn, so I think that's what he's going to be looking for now. Using that passive just to his advantage there. And that's still managing to gain the mid pressure, the neutral mid pressure as well. Gets him to level 4, level above.
Just a little bit out farm. I'd like to see this rat kind of step up a little bit.
Yeah, so the pressure's come into Rats and Dual Lane again. But nothing too much seems to be coming out of it. A bit of poke here and there.
It looks like Rats is going to have some early pressure.
Looks like Poseidon's looking over for an early level 5 gank, but that potential that the Kraken does hold. I don't think Rats with Batsa know about it. He's going to come around the side here. Oh, I think they've been told the blink from Horus does come out, however the tidal spin. However, the Kraken does come out onto the Yamoja. The lot just collapsed onto it, and the damage is just overwhelming enough to bring her down.
That knockup from Gamer, like, got to that first blood. If he didn't knock him up right there, that Yamoja was gone with the Hui.
That's the combo power from it as well. With that release, the Kraken comboed with the Hail of Arrows and the Bladed Arrow from the other. Instant deletion. Yamoja couldn't hang in there long enough.
What's the level like? That's so like old chunks at level 5. So
Yeah,
Disco,
just using that to gain the pressure.
does Disco have a level lead because of that rotation? No, it's about even. Did they pause real quick?
Yeah, pause is coming out there, yeah.
Alright.
Not too sure, because that Poseidon did... Who did the Poseidon did grab the kill on the left side with the Kraken, so...
Yeah, Poseidon did Kraken Yamoja. They have
So
about...
they did get something out of it.
Yeah, about like a 500 gold lead, so just that first blood bounty. It looks like Rat and Humbats are level 5. Let's see if they try to do any kind of fights around this mid camp. If I'm Humbats, you have Humbats Disco. It's not the strongest early to mid game, but you might be able to just burn beads with either one of them and kind of just have pressure mid.
I just want to see if there's any opportunity for the Discordia to get that apple spread across to any more targets. Because comboing that with Humbat's ult when they don't have a purification or they don't have an escape from it, that can be very dangerous.
If you hit Rat with it, he goes up in the air and jumps through, and he's standing over one of his teammates in his ult, and he gets hit by that. It will actually spread to his teammates on the ground, which is really a weird interaction.
Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you mean. So like when he's on his branches,
yeah, when he's
if
like in his ult,
branches above,
and you hit him before
so
he jumps.
Spread him.
Yeah,
You've got to watch out for that. Yeah, you've got to watch out for that.
I've killed a few teammates with that nowadays.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
No surprise for the blue boots to come up for Yemoja, using that early mana gain to push towards getting that extra bit of Omi, and the Traveler's Shoes coming up from to Horus as well.
And both mid laners opting for the lifesteal boots instead of cooldown boots. It seems like more people are starting to gravitate more towards the lifesteal kind of.
Yeah.
Like any kind of lifesteal item, they usually match like a lifesteal boots with Pythags, Soul Gem. It's just...
That build's become more recognized normally because it's definitely an optional build path for Merlin and Poseidon. Oh, Merlin, Discordia, sorry, my bad.
I mean, with the Pythags, you're buffing your teammates and yourself, and you're giving it like that 10% penetration now with it.
Yeah, definitely making that 3v3 fight really strong.
I like to see Disco try to go for maybe the... Yeah, like if Discordia went for the Pythags, it would buffer Yemoja with herself. Like their early game, which is more weak with the Disco, would be a little bit stronger having a Pythags buffing her teammates. Yeah,
does make sense because just to help her come online a bit quicker, boosting that early pressure, boosting the early pressure a little bit, getting her towards that mid game as quick as possible.
I say like Disco, kind of not much of an impact in the game until she hits about level 13, has 2 point, like just full abilities. Like that 20, mostly around like that 20-minute mark, she's gonna start swinging and pumping out.
Yeah, I want to see when it's Yemoja hits 5, how if you can get a quick trap on the Poseidon, depending on how far he pushes up in that mid lane, because that's very possible to do. As Horus is seen in mid before Yemoja is anyway. Looking like they're going to send their supports to mid pretty soon, leaving the ADCs alone together.
Hoi Uller ADC lane. I can expect a lot of action going on over there.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of fight. There could be a lot of fighting going on.
Looks like Hoi did drop his ult on the wave just to back.
Yeah, understandable, I guess. Just so we can get that back and get there for the next wave, just to keep the XP going as well.
It's just quick. Rat's kind of hovering around that blue buff, and he's just gonna walk back.
He is. He's looking for a cheeky invade if he can. But I think with Humberts now, I don't think I can see it as of now, but I think he does have his boots online as well, so he's got that match going. Zero top wall, wall place top left there.
I think Rat's just missed a really good opportunity right there. With Horus and side walking right to mid. Like aggressively, they all three were standing there.
Yeah, I see that. I guess he's just playing a little bit safe as it is. Yeah. I think that's what Zombies is trying to really do, because he's not really going to put as much aggression as possible as he can. He's probably going to like just take the safe route and get as much farm as possible there. The Hui does come out onto the wave. Oh, they're actually a little bit off the mark. The Ricochet stun does come out there. A lot of poke coming through. Raktos is looking for a gank in the duel in here. As Hui Leap is still down. Horror Shot comes through as well. He's the only one who comes through it though. The stun comes out and the bead from Hui is released. And Knockoff didn't quite catch him. However, the Discordia catches the Poseidon alone in mid lane alongside his jungler and support. However, I also see Afro there as well. I don't know if that was a 4-man rotation onto mid. I think it might have been. Just to take down that Poseidon. Given the mid, that's a good thing to give the Discordia the lead there.
It looks like Humbats and Disco just double ulted the Poseidon. He didn't even get Kraken off or anything. He just blew.
Looks like there's a bit of conflict to the red buff there, yeah. It looks like Rattlesnake did try to use his ult to get that Hui kill, but unfortunately Hui does still managed to escape as well.
Yeah, they blew. They did get the Hui beads. They should look for rotation.
They did, yeah.
2 minutes. Try to capitalize on that.
I don't know if they got anything else off of the Poseidon with a kill, like if they got his beats too. But that could also lead to something quite scary. There we go.
They did get Poseidon beats.
Yeah,
down
they
for
did.
Another minute 40.
And Poseidon looking like, so he started with the Major Blessing and the tier 1 spear. from the pen tree, and he's gone into his purple boots. Oh, the Discordia perfectly there to dodge that Kraken.
Didn't go slipping
She's
along.
very happy with that. Very happy with that coming out as well. Lovely. I think the cripple was just didn't start soon enough to stop her from that dash.
It's a little bit of a delay, and he just got that dash off just in time.
Yeah, very nice, and nice awareness there as well.
The reaction time goes.
Yeah, so also like, because Discordia, she might be rushing dependent. That's probably the more reasonable choice for her. Whereas Poseidon started with a Mage's Blessing. Now I think he's going independent too now, as he's got the lost artifact there.
He could be going pendant or Doom Orb. It just
True, definitely
Doom
works on
Orb
Poseidon.
yeah, Doom Orb is really strong on Poseidon, and he's gonna definitely go with Divine Ruin. I think both mages are going Divine Ruin in that third item slot.
Does make sense with Sustain coming out on both teams. A little bit of conflict here in mid. The Emoji does come out, but unfortunately it's a little bit off the mark of the escape through the top there.
They're just
Yeah, Razor's got brought down to around 50% HP. Looking like Ullr's in between his tier 1 and 2 as well, playing it safe as he knows that the rats with bats are in his jungle. The Emoji looking for a little bit of poke as well. The Horror Stun does come out onto her alongside the knock-up combo. Ratsoska dashes into the ring. Don't want to fall into that trap there. And Ratsos just come out. Rat tries to hold away, and he just gets up in time. Through the Cosmos, saving his life there. Humba's lower mana as well, so he wouldn't be able to follow up with much abilities. Tried his best there.
I think Rat ended up
beating. Did he actually there? Okay.
Yeah,
probably just help him out quicker as well.
If he didn't beat there, he was dead for sure.
Looking like a bit of conflict coming into the dual lane here. The attack is slightly off the mark. There's a ricochet though. Looks like Horus is ulting into the Hui again here. I think his beats might still be down to take advantage of this. However, the Hui is up, so he's probably going to time this and work with the stun. However, the stun does come out on the knockup. The beads do come back out as he does have them back up. The slow comes up. Ullr's out of mana, so he's not able to pressure anymore with his abilities. And luckily, Yamoja with the shell there, I think. Was that the shell or was that her healing waters?
I couldn't tell. It looks like a shell was used. Yeah, it was the shell.
Yeah, it was the shell. The shell was used there to save the Hui.
I don't think she had enough Omi for that healing. It looks like Rat, oddly enough, going for the Jotun's Wrath first instead of a Brawler's. You think with the Yamoja Afro, you want to go as much anti-heal as quick as possible.
As the Humbats has done that, to go into just the Horus heal. And you were right with the Poseidon, he's going to Doom Orb too.
Yeah.
The Pulse coming out.
I think it's kind of odd. When you're going against even like any kind of heals, I think you just want to get Brawlers as quick as possible as a jungler. You're going to be all over the map. You want to, they have healing in almost every lane. Like if you go to dual lane, Yamoja's probably going to rotate. They're going to heal there. You go to solo lane, it's going to have heals there. Mid lane, they're going to be able to heal with the lifesteal boots. There's just so much healing, and going Jotuns first on a Ratatasker isn't ideal. Rat, like with the jungler builds, you have so many cooldown options that Jotun's Wrath isn't necessarily needed every single game.
I see him picking it up though, with obviously starting with the mace as well, and then going into it for the because his ultimate starts off at 110 seconds, so bringing that down quite substantially from the 20% CDR it gives. So
which is good, nice. But most junglers, if you're not a Humbats or you're not like a Dodgy, most junglers do go double mace now with how Trans got nerfed. So you can always go like a Brawlers and Jotuns. You can go Jotuns third, and just have that early penetration and anti-heal early off in the game, so you don't get snowballed by just healing comps.
Yeah, because both, comparing Jotun's Wrath to Brawler's Beat Stick, both give 40 power, but I think Brawler's gives 15 pen, whereas Jotun's Wrath gives 10. Alongside the CDR and the mana, it does give. But still, with that Brawler's anti-heal passive, you're probably going to want that, especially into the Emoja and the Afro. Because if as we saw with the Poseidon death just a few minutes ago, Afro was there at the mid camps, so it looks like she is looking to make rotations when possible. And without anti-heal, they could do a lot with the Lovebirds she can give for the heals.
Looks like she stole that blue buff on right too. Right before it paused, she got that blue buff.
It does look like it, doesn't it?
So Afro's going to be a nuisance if she keeps being able just to free farm.
Highest level in the game at the minute. Pause vote doesn't stop and come through here. And looking at the Ullr build as well, like normally with the ADCs, when you see them go boots, they always pick up Ninja Tabi now, but he's gone for the Warriors just to make those abilities hit a little bit harder.
Yeah, just with that extra like 15 power or so.
Yeah.
15 power, I guess.
I think with the ADCs though, I think you would be looking at the attack speed boots, the Ninja Tabi with the attack speed mana, and I think it is 20 power, so 20 power less, but with the trade-off for 25% attack speed, it's quite substantial. Especially
if you think Ullr like recently has been just going that full like pen build where he'll go Crusher and then maybe a Brawler's Heartseeker Bloodforge, and that build just kind of just goes all
It
straight
is,
power. So maybe he's looking to go for that build instead of more of an
He
attack
may
speed
be, yeah.
Exekins.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see what he goes for his third item.
It's more likely to see that Ulla build in the middle lane. The Emoja ring does come out to push towards the left lane. Although we're going to look for a cheeky gank there, but not really. Both solo lanes proxying as Sobek and Afro are a very quiet lane, to be honest. I don't think you're going to see much happen between them.
Not much. Looks like Afro is
so
rotating.
Afro
to
looking
mid,
like
though.
to rotate over here. She's looking like she's hovering around that rock. However,
They're both
I think the
standing on
ward
a
does
ward.
see them. Yeah, they are standing on that ward there, which just disappeared, however. Sobek has managed to come over to counter that rotation.
Looks like everyone's just gonna fall back to farming again. It's a pretty slow-paced game
Yeah,
so
playing
far.
it safe as well.
Rat's actually accumulated about 700 gold leads so far,
Right.
just off mostly farming. There's only been 2 kills, and they actually gave up the first place.
Surprised to
Afro's
see
just
that
running away.
Yumoja's not using the potential of her ult can do. She even traps Poseidon, and it could trap Rat or even force an ultimate out, just to like keep that pressure as well. So I haven't seen that aggression come out from Rats with Bats. I guess also with the Discordia, as it's not seen as so much of an early pick, that's probably why they're holding back for it.
You want
And just
her
waiting for a few more damage to come online. Look at all the
I think
markers
you
on
want
there.
her to at
season.
least get penetration online. The Rat has
Those are
0
looking a bit
player
aggressive
damage.
there. Rat's just
Well,
playing it safe. Seems to just be
But
like,
as a Rat,
going for a perfect
you
opportunity.
control the early mid game. Most
He does
like
have
when
the
you're playing-
pressure, but I guess he's just looking to find more farm and get ahead as quick as possible.
I still think at 12 minutes you should have more than 0
Yeah, maybe
damage.
he's playing a little bit too safe.
Maybe a little bit too passive.
Yeah. Yeah, even saying what I just said before, I mean, the Humbats has got a level lead on him, so Ram probably wants to look to do something. As there's a few bit of poke coming up from mid, but they're just focusing on the waist ready. Humbats looking like he's getting taken on by 3 members of oh, the Humbats will just come out
Big
though onto the
Humbats.
horse. A lot of damage out with the upper magic as well. The apple of disco does come out.
Oh, it
Just
barely
off the mark
misses.
on the Ratatoska, and the Ratatoska does save his life. Horus managing to just slip out there, but the Moonstrike stun to catch him. The double Moonstrike stun does he managed to slip out, however, and Sobek said to just peel off for his team as well. Nice engage from Rats with Bats, so the Humbats are catching all 3 enemies, the mid support and jungle.
It's very
I think
unfortunate.
that did manage to catch
that
speed.
this ball just barely missed.
Yeah, it's
Good.
unfortunate.
I think if
That could have
if-
even hurt even a lot more, because if that caught the Rat,
If-
he probably was going to die there and spread it to the Horus, which could have caused even more damage.
Yeah, and that horse would have been crippled, not being able to dash away. I think
Yes.
that results in a double kill. Now they are positioning
They're
on the
looking
Skull
for
Fury.
gold for here. All 5 members of Rats with Bats are looking to take it down. They do start it here, Sobek's coming in.
They have to be careful about Sobek and Poseidon ult coming in.
And the Horus ult does come through
Horse
as well,
is-
however.
Poseidon coming around
I
with
think they
her.
need to drop that gold tree out because the focus is on the Horus, however, just to just get out with the protective zone and save yourself. Very nice Kraken coming out. The shell does come out, but it doesn't manage to save the Emoja in time. The problem is the Afro pulls it back, and the Curse Onk comes through as well, denying a lot of that healing to sustain that other blink from the Horus. Very great coming out of the
Discord
the
comes
upshot
out
there.
again.
This thought just come out and just catch the side. However, Humbats managing to just out of the health there. The stun comes out onto the Humbats, stopping him from doing more damage, allowing the side to escape. However, he jumps onto the Horus. The somersault does catch Horus, but it's still game. A nice, lovely play there from the Horus, saving his Poseidon. Sobek applying the pressure there as well with sickening strike in tailwind. The Huyon does come out there. A lot of Davies Deliquents there, and just take out the Sobek. Catching him off guard and the stomp, the back off from Afro, taking out Ulla. Well, Porter was back, and that's what I mean. Look at the sustain. Afro's back to full health. Discordia's playing a little bit offensive there onto the red buff, trying to take that Rat, but Poseidon's managed to come back with a loss of health. Trying to see what he can do into that gold tree, however, they do notice him there. Afro trying to zone him away, and it looks like that.
Oh, we stole it!
There's Tidal Surge, does steal it away. Fantastic play from Redwood on the Poseidon, stealing that away.
I think that falls more on Rats with Bats. They did a terrible job there. When you
I
have
don't think they have to
you
secure
have
for it
Yamoja-
either.
They didn't have to secure for it, but you have Yamoja and Humbat's ult up at the
Yeah.
same time. There's no way a Poseidon with no beads should be able to walk in and 3-1 your.
Also,
ult
look at their
steal
mana
it.
as well. Discordia has very little mana. I don't know, and also, so same with Afro. I don't know if they were insufficient in mana to cast their abilities in time.
Well, they
but
had
that's-
the mana 4 abilities. They were throwing spells the entire time. It's just
Doing
unfortunate
what they
that
can, yeah.
they weren't aware that Poseidon could just walk in and steal
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
I think that falls more on Umoja and the Humbats not being able to just ult him away.
Yeah, they're looking at
Just
Afro
need to
build.
clean
The
up a
Afro's
little
already
bit.
got full CDR now and Lotus Crown as well. She's got a ton of MP5 already stacked up, so she shouldn't be worrying about her mana anytime soon, especially at level 16 as well.
Looks like
3
Ullr's
levels
going
on the
the attack
Sobek.
speed build.
He is. That does make sense more because it's focused what an ADC is meant to really be doing. I think that build she suggested before with the Heartstream and the Blood Forge is more fun in midfield. However, the Kraken does have side from there. He can jump onto the Uller and catches it. Lovely play there from this play. And the return from the Horizon just come out trying to save Poseidon as they do turn their attention to him. But he managed to just get out. Meanwhile, Discordia getting a kill on Rantel, getting in the mid lane. And the Poseidon just barely slipping out. Like the Aegis used to trying to postpone death, which he does manage to do. And but they're still looking to pressure a little bit as Sobek has teleported over. The ricochet stun comes out, but Sobek's got a lot of protections there. Not really taking too much poke.
Whispering this game has just been playing lights out. He's just not afraid of anyone.
That was a very good play there. He walked straight out the whirlpool to try and place down, and he knew that Kraken was coming and had managed to time that dive bomb perfectly above it just to avoid the damage and jump back onto the Uller to take him out. Fantastic play.
Very aware of just as carries, just dashing towards.
Poseidon managing to catch the Discordia Aegis there, just from the whirlpool and the tidal surge.
Good awareness from him. And I saw Humbats. He went for the Erendite third item. I think it's kind of an odd place to go there.
Interesting.
You are ahead. Just an Erendite that early.
Blink to Horus there. Having the Moonstrike, returning the Moonstrike stun. There's
dash.
Unfortunately, mentioned it doesn't mean to. It doesn't manage to catch anything off there. But going back to the junglers as well, I do see the Erendite is with Humbat. As soon as you drop that ult, you get the buff. That's not the same case with a lot of other assassins. However, with him, as soon as he drops it, he gets that movement speed buff and he's running towards his enemies. And with Discord, he's just gone for Typhon's Fang third.
I know, and Typhon's Fang doesn't have any flat pin in her build.
However, she's got percentage.
She does have percentage. She has about 10% percentage, and she might be going for Karen's coin here. It's a little odd. I think Soul Reaver.
I hit the stare up from the solos there.
Just having a little solo look.
Carrying that little sassy remark. See that there. Yeah, I have been seeing Typhon's Fang being picked up solely recently. A lot of especially last season, it was literally only being picked up with the Bancroft if it was being used for a sustain build. However, it's seen a lot more purpose on its own now this season.
It's strong by itself, especially with the new magic moves.
Yeah.
Just the new lifesteal. I just think your most mid lane builds, you want flat pin. In there, I think flat pin 4th, and then you like a Soul Reaver 5th is usually standard.
See where it goes in there. And also, the Rats picked up the Transcendence 3rd, so he has got into that.
I'm not a big fan of the Transcendence.
A little bit of poke coming out there onto the Horus there, but he managed to slip away Protector Surge.
Yeah, just heals back up with Poseidon. Are you a fan of the Transcendence build anymore? In jungle?
Mostly yes, but it depends, because you could do it from ahead and just stack that mana up and obviously get a massive power curve from it. And it also helps with jungle speed, not looking to get from it. The gang comes onto the other end, these dudes are forced out onto him. He looks to jump over that wall for the safety at the Emoji just tries to corner him off before he doesn't walk out of it. The Humbat Assault, as he jumps over the wall, catches him. And the Afro with the bonus movement speed buff that she
Davies pulling fire.
Catches him. And Davies have managed to pull fire as an opportunity there as almost all members rotate over there. Discord is looking to see if she can stop it as quick as possible. However, the Raptors could take a ton of damage. He's about to die to the fire giant, and he does unfortunately fall to it. Discordia will just come up to try and save her there, but it doesn't actually happen.
Rats might pull this fire
Looks
now.
like they managed to put it back and stop the super fire giant away. Frenzy just come out to try and take it. However, Red Team don't want to let that happen in terms of fun. The ultimate from the lead managed to come out to sustain it there. However, they
Rats got it.
They're just to zone instead of using fire zone. The Kraken just come out, not managing to connect with much damage there. Boris is going to be in a bit of a sticky situation, does fall to the Hu Yi. This is huge for Rats with Bats here with the fire giant they've managed to pick up. Don't know if that was the best call from Davies Deliquents to start on the fire giant, especially with the ADC not being present there.
And your Rat being level 13, kind of. He just died to fire straight up.
Yeah, I was confused. He wasn't tanking that, was he?
No, I think he got knocked up.
Low on health. Oh, okay. And with the pools as well, it's quite dangerous.
Mhm,
And
the
I've
pool-
stacked the lava pools.
As a melee character, if you're just not, you gotta move around that fire so you don't take any damage from it.
Yeah. And looking into the support builds, it's nice to see the horses gone Contagion to try and prevent as much sustain from Rats with Bats as possible. Meanwhile, Yomoja
Just
going into the breastplate
of
as
Valor,
usual.
just to help with her Omi and her
Yeah,
cooldown. Like
definitely.
cooldown gives her more Omi regen.
Yeah,
With
definitely.
mana
So he
giving
gets
her
that
more
quicker.
Omi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With cooldown boots and breastplate, you're pretty much, I think, full passive with her Omi.
Yeah.
So that way she can just spam
She's now
her
got
heals.
all her Omi now. Because she gets it at level 4 and level 12. She gets one Omi at level 4 and level 12. Looking at the ADC builds as well, with the Huyi going into the crit and with the Executioner, however, Ulla's going into what seems to be a Brawlers. I'm going to predict that's going to be a Brawlers pickup.
I think it's a Crusher.
It could also be a Crusher as well, however, because you see Rat also going into the same tree with the Mace pickup. He could be going for Brawlers there as well. Bit of a tricky one. I think he should have gone with the Brawlers where the Jotun defense item 4th as he is behind. 3 levels behind the Humbat, so that is quite a tricky situation he's put himself in. Very squishy and easy to pick off.
I think 90% of the games you play as a jungler, you don't go trans anymore. There's better items. The mace tree is stronger. I think if you go double mace, like you have brawlers, and then you get Jotuns, and then you can go like a Heartseeker, and you're swinging. You get like a defense item and Titan's Bane. I think you still pump out the same damage you would if you go trans.
Yeah, so that's very standard as well. But like I still see the trans build not being really bad, but I still like it can still be picked up and
it's a good option.
Yeah, it's a good option.
You have to stack as quickly as you can with it, which just makes it not as good of an option when you can just buy Jotuns, buy brawlers, and be ready to fight.
Yeah. Looking at so this one's a Guardian, I think, trying to pumping out a lot of damage. They're just going to get the towers for free. The tier 2 and right is 4.
Yeah, looks like they've accumulated. I can't see the blue side. It looks close to
Meanwhile,
about
Ulla's taking advantage of the fact
6,000.
It is looking like it, yeah. Ulla's taking advantage of the fact that Rats with Bats took the tower going through dual lane, managing to get a tower.
He's going to need to get out sooner. He's going to get caught by the whole of Rats. Ghost might not spot him
there. They don't manage to spot him yet.
No, he's gonna get out scot-free. Ghost was close to spotting him out.
Yeah. They're gonna pick up the Supreme Fury, stay nice and safe, and then they're probably gonna progress to the left towers.
Yeah, pick up left 2 towers. I think they called out a day and reset.
This is quite scary for Davies Deliquents here, as the sustain is very high coming out with the Afro Birds and the Yomoja healing waters.
Does Sobek Gamer, does Buffs or Gamer have a curse knock?
I think I did see
saw
one
it
brought out earlier. Yeah, it was brought onto the Afro earlier, so I do believe
it's on the Sobek.
On the Sobek, yeah. And that was a Brawlers picked up on the other as well.
Okay.
It's quite risky as well, considering you've only got flat pen. I know the Assy gives, is it 10 or 15 flat pen?
I think it's
15. Oh, the damage comes out onto the Aphrodite. They've got the Undying Love.
And oh my gosh, that Visco damage and Shelf
to come out to save it. Gee, lovely damage coming out from return. I think this is the sun raining down now. The other man just to get out there, and the side going cripple over the towers, trying to slow them down. A lot of pressure coming out, and this is where it is. So you can see the emerging Afro just healing back up all of that damage, all the whole team full health, especially that fire drive we as well. They're going to go push that final tower and left there.
I think at this point in the game, as Davies, as your Davies, you kind of think, you gotta start thinking like this game could be over unless you pull off some crazy good defenses. You gotta go back and think, where did game 1 go wrong? I think most of it happens to be ward coverage.
The chase onto the Poseidon is still happening if you see him. It's just too fast.
I think who?
Who are you still applying the chase there? Just Poseidon with the Doom or too fast.
Is that Doom
away with Trident as well.
Yeah,
he's still chasing. I think Rats with Bats need to kind of see what else they can do. Rat does, who you leap over the wall, but Rat's also there. The quickness come out. Discordia's on the other side as well. They might catch him. Still the speed comes out. However, Rat dashes into Discordia, catches the Discordia apple, takes a ton of damage from that. Humbat's turning right onto him, catches him, as there's no way out for Ratatuska there. Unfortunately. Did have his ultimate. He could have used his ultimate to escape. But Rats with Bats still going to go for Pyromancer there and probably get a reset for Fire Giant going. They're going to push that tower there, however, they have spotted him. They're going to follow him over there. In a very, very bad situation, but Humbats is the second monkey. They're snapping him and the Strive catching him. Not much luck there for Ole, just get caught out. Good play from the Rats with Bats.
Yeah, they're just trying to collect gold wherever they can. It's not a bad play to sack yourself for the T2. Not much is gonna happen. You should be up. Yeah, 40 seconds. You'll be up by the next Fire Giant spawn.
Yeah.
They should be able to still defend. Getting some golden hands for the people that are behind. The Rat and Horus slowly catching up.
Glad to see that Crust Dunk also upgraded on in the hands of Sobek as well. However, Yamoja, I love to pick up the Emperor's Armor there just to prevent the anti-siege even more. Given that debuff to the structures, something that Horus can't provide as of now, Teeth can have it. He's looking to go into, that could be either of the items in the Kasari tree, it could be either Onis, Genjis, or Shoguns. I'm going to predict it's going to be an Onis Hunters.
I was thinking Onis. I think if you're going to have to tank swap with that Sobek. If you're going to dash into Prot Shred, you're going to need that Onis when you're surrounded by 3, 4, 5 people. What happened? What I miss?
No, it's my voice crack. A lot of times this happened. They're going to look back at the Fire Giant that's coming down very soon. It's just dropped now, actually, speaking of. Meanwhile, Forcing at the side, and they're going to just take that left tower. They see that they have no potential of stealing it away. They're going to play safe and get what they can from it. Yeah, that Fire Giant just almost deleted.
Yeah, there's no reason to take a losing fight when you can just get global gold and try to just play back on the back foot until you can get caught up with them.
And that Humbats, picking up the Relic Dagger, which I find is a very, very strong pickup because to have that blink reduced by 40 seconds.
Is it 40 or 30? It is 40, isn't it?
It is 40 seconds on the Relic Dagger,
yeah. 80-second cooldown on that blink.
Yeah, it is. Because, well, actually, he hasn't upgraded it just yet. I think the unupgraded version is 140 birthday. Some come out with the out, and the Humbats will just catch the seconds away from it. However, the Kraken comes out in return, takes a lot of damage to the motion, and then Taylor Barry takes her down, and nice return from Davies Deliquents there. And Sobek's still having his Cursed Donk as well, as Afro wasn't there. I don't think she was there.
Afro was all the way left. I think.
Meanwhile, that's a lot. That's a big factor to stay for the team there. Horse blinking in and the dash. Sorry, the stun knockup coming onto Huyi, but he then does fall away. As Ola's has been the one that goes to left, they don't really have much damage to pump out. They only have the Poseidon to rely on for the anti-siege.
I think that was a little too aggressive for Rats. They don't have their Afro with them.
Yeah, now she's here.
4v5
she's here to sustain the team back up. Look at that Humbats just hitting straight up from Lovebirds. Also, the I like seeing the Afro picks up more, also with her damage potential. Now, it's looking like the few combos coming out. Horus taking a ton of pokes. He does come on to save it. A lovely dive from that. And the Rats could just get deleted by the back off and the damage that Rats Flash has provided to him. He's in a very unfortunate situation, and he's just not got the levels on him either. Aside from the fact that he's not defense, it's very unfortunate for Rats Oscar there.
Yeah, the Rats just kind of not much of an impact in this game, unfortunately. Just haven't been able to find.
Unfortunately, the Horus came out. It ends up coming by himself there. Oh, with the scare code. Unfortunately, that doesn't look like a waste of the to the skies, unfortunately. But they're still looking to defend as much as possible. Look at that Yamoja Hill coming out, applying the shields as well. Just understand, they're looking to siege the Phoenix here right now. The ultimate just kind of the Athena just catches that Horus, he just gets deleted. Turns the CT, the Squad he does catch the side in the back, but he waits to save it. And now, however, the Huyi, massive damage from the auto attacks and the crit there, taken out. And there's Phoenix stuff forward easily, and they're looking to push the Titan here, I believe. The surrender vote has been started as well. They're looking to push the straight over the Titan. It is looking to happen, unfortunately. However, the Titan's health is just getting deleted there. They're trying their best to defend, they're using all their abilities what they can, however the Titan falls. Lovely play from Rats with Bats there, coming in with the aggression they had.
Scarred 24k damage. And Justin Who following that up with 15-6, second on the damage numbers.
I mean, Whispering with the Huyi damage.
It's just a strong game from Whispering and Justin just playing really well that game.
Yeah, I just loved how they built up with the early game. They didn't apply too much pressure, and they just stuck with what they had until they managed to have the damage to go in.
Yeah, until they felt comfortable with their comp coming online, and then as soon as their comp came online, they pushed that gas pedal.
Yeah,
it'll be
definitely
interesting to see how Davies adjusts game 2.
Yes.
Maybe look to cancel out some of that anti-heal. See what the analysts say.
Yeah, we'll head back to the analyst desks, back to Nox and Game Fan.
Wow, what a game! I mean, just nothing else to say about that. Rats at Bats was very, very strong. They were very well. They fought very well together. And unfortunately, I think Davies Delinquents had a bit of an issue with that in that game, and that's what really was one of the biggest keys to victory there for Rats at Bats.
Yeah, not to say, and one of the biggest things that is so glaring to me is the fact that, you know, they decided to field themselves a different jungler, right? So they have Angry Zombie, and I'm not opposed to necessarily trying out your subs and getting them a little bit more experience with the main roster, especially considering this is just game 1, so they can easily bring this back game 2, or even, you know, obviously they're going to need a game 3 here to win the set out. But the performance that we saw out of Angry Zombies is so far from what we normally see out of J-Feather that I'm not exactly sure where the focus was for their team. I'm not sure if it was, let's play off of our mid and our support and try and find an advantage point there. Let's play off of our dual lane. Let's play off of our solo. Because 100% it was not coming out of, let's play off of our semi-global ultimate jungler that has early game pressure that rushed a Jotun's Wrath. It was definitely not coming out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, at the end of the game, he ended up having about 2,800 damage on top of that, which is just not something you want to see from Ratatosker. But I think they mainly focus on their, if it's not J-Feather for Davies, it's usually their duo or their mid laner in Redhawk. And Redhawk actually didn't really have an easy time with this game. He was killed very early on, and his Krakens just didn't find their mark too often. And the few games that did go over discarded on the other side of the map just weren't successful, except for the very first one, which they were able to get off. But besides that, they really didn't find success in the spots they normally find success at. I think that's just where J-Feather comes in, realistically, there.
And I'll give it to Red Hawk the fact that, 3 minutes and 30 seconds in, he goes straight to the dual lane. And it's the same thing we've seen out of our ranked games. Poseidon hits level 5, goes dual lane, Krakens them. And it's obviously very difficult for a Yamoja and a Houyi to try and outplay that, just because the only way that they can get away from the Kraken is by being able to basically jump or leap or dash themselves away. But obviously when you're getting crippled, not exactly going to be able to do that. And I wish he played more off of that aggression. I wish he played more off of going to either the side lanes, obviously trying to maybe go after this Aphrodite. Maybe that was something he could have done. Force out her ultimate, force out the Aegis. She doesn't have teleport. She went Aegis first. So that was something they could have played off of. And you had a Sobek who can easily displace this Aphrodite, make it a little bit easier for you to try and go for a vantage point there. But to not see that at all is just such a dishonor. Definitely very difficult to go into.
Yeah, but speaking of Aphrodite, though, that sustain was just insane. I mean, you saw the Phoenix Siege. Everyone was at like 50% or less, except for the Aphrodite, and Aphrodite just came in and like maybe 3 rotations of abilities over. They're all at full health and ready to fight with their support backup. It was a bit weird that she did push that left lane so far, and I think that's one issue that she did have with not getting teleport, is that she wasn't there for that initial fight of it, which it could have gone a bit better if she was there. But I mean, either way, yeah, it is kind of interesting that they didn't take advantage of that lack of the teleport, because that's usually what you do, is that if a solo lane doesn't go to teleport, they go something like Blink or just really any other relic. Typically see them get focused, and we just didn't see that come out, unfortunately.
And that couldn't have been said better. I mean, Cognon got away with absolute murder. He had almost called a Rod of Asclepius. He has Rod of Asclepius, Chronos Pendant, and Aegis on solo lane Aphrodite and did not get punished whatsoever. I mean, that in itself was just very confusing to me, because you have a composition that can actually do pretty well, at least pressuring this Aphrodite. You don't have any frontline per se. You don't have a frontline that can zone a team out, and yet somehow you're getting away with that with no punishment.
Yeah, I mean, you could have easily put the Kraken to the other side, take the Sobek, have them use the pluck, and either way, the Afro has to ult. And if you have a Kraken coming on top of that, that's just a dead old Afro, and that's solo lane.
Right. I mean, you've got the Rat ultimate, you've got the Sobek ult, you've got the Poseidon ult. There's so much that could have played off of that. So for me, at least, I think that if Jay Feather does field this next game, we might see a little bit more focus, at least coming from the jungle into the side lanes, because I'm still amazed at the composition that they actually got away with. The fact that Yamoja got through, and then on top of that, you also have a Hoonbots that got through. Then you have an Aphrodite on top of that. I mean, how? How does that get through? How do you allow for that entire composition to get through, but you don't pick anything that and I hate to stress the concept of a meta and trying to get teams to play more towards it, but at the same time, there's a reason that these characters are doing so well. There's a reason that they are winning games. And when you try and deny that, that's going to be the issue. I think teams can definitely play above it. I think teams can outplay it, but that's just not something that we saw here.
Yeah, I mean, I think their first. I mean, that's the reason why they got it, is because they picked Uller and Horus in the top two, which aren't necessarily that bad, but when you leave so much stuff open, and that's just when it's bad. See, Persephone banned out, not a surprise. I mean, she's been very strong since she's been able to be played at this competitive level. I think most mids have that in their couple as well.
I expect pretty difficult bans, but I would like to note the last game that they did ban Shibalanki as well as Sun Wukong. I mean, Game Fan, do you think that there is going to be a change before they ban these last couple picks here?
The Aphrodite, I mean, yeah, not surprised they made out there. She was just a very strong pick in that game, and it's interesting because Cognight, I believe, typically plays more of these, Kukolan type solos, the solos that just want to be in your face. But he picked the Aphrodite that game, and he played it very well, and he was actually still finding good kills with the back offs as well, securing them. But with the campus being made out, we do see the Moja come out once more in this game. I believe this is the first time I've ever seen Moja be played 2 games in a row, because she's just been banned nonstop in that top 6 the entire season.
And I love the fact that I'm a gamer is the person picking this one up. Reason being is because, so last week we obviously saw him picking up a lot of the Horus and the Kepri, right? Things that can be a little bit more peel-oriented, things that have a good amount of sustain. But when he has to be put in a position where it's 2 sustain-oriented gods against one another, we clearly see that he was struggling a little bit. And Yamoja's going to be able to provide so much more than the Horus is. So I like that he's picking it up here because it gives him more towards his playstyle. It gives him more towards being able to uplift his team without necessarily having to put himself out of position like the Horus does. Because level 1, we did see the Blink Horus trying to come out, and we didn't see a lot coming off of it. Once it got into later stages of the game.
Yeah, indeed. We see the Odin be picked up too as well. I mean, it's a great pick into the Emoja, just block her off so that she can't get out of that Odin cage as well. Typically, we see teams actually opt for the Jormungandr solo after Odin, just because of the fact that he just hisses on any wall, could bracket wall, Odin cages with the changes, and that ult's just useless at that point. And also, not to mention, it does stop all of healing, I believe, still. And that's why we see the Raijin come out, a god who can't get out of that cage as well. I think we might see this Odin go to Justin Hu. We saw him play it last 2 weeks, actually. Last 2 sets. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to him. But he can flex into multiple roles, this Odin.
And I think that's the fun part about Odin, and some people just might hate it, but I love the flexibility that Odin has always had. He's one of those few characters that genuinely can be played in 3 different roles, and actually to an extremely high degree, without it being considered quote-unquote troll, without it considered being, an unorthodox pick. We've seen Odin support. We've seen Odin solo when he first ever came out, and now we're starting to transition a little bit more towards the Odin jungle, just because of the fact that the cage is so powerful. And even with the transitions that we saw with it, obviously being able to break the cage, or being able to escape, and obviously the spears chasing after you, it's an interesting way of trying to distract the opposing team as you drop big circles into it. And with the Ganesh being picked up, that 100% is moving more towards that idea that big circles win games. We're going to drop the Suns inside of it. If they think they're going to get any farther away, maybe we're going to juxtapose the Ganesh ultimate and the cage just so that the ultimate kind of bleeds on the outside. So it's not as easy for them to try and escape the entire area.
Yeah, I mean this is a combo we've seen ever since Odin's come back. Is this Ganesh Odin? You drop that support damage. That ult for support does a lot of damage. I mean, you're basically getting upwards of 500 plus damage off of that ult, guaranteed, unless someone beats it or ages it in some way. Actually, a fun fact too, I believe Odin way back when the game was first coming out, he actually did have damage on the hour ring of his ult as well. So basically, you're reenacting a very old version of Odin with this new version of Odin. We see Kali and Awilix come out as bans, which I'm not too surprised by. Two gods that Jayfeather can very well play, especially if you have a Jing Wei, you can just get those knockoffs off pretty easily. Those can lead to some very bad picks for rest of bats that they don't want to see happen to them.
And this feels definitely like they're trying to limit a lot of what Jayfeather wants to try and play, because banning out the Kali and the Wheelix, that's very strong, and obviously can counteract your composition knowing that you have two characters that really operate around their leaps. But then picking up the Habois, we saw the Habois from their team last week, and we saw the Warlock staff actually coming out as well, an item that just has been cruelly and horrifyingly undervalued. Obviously, with its transitions with less power than we saw back in Season 4, you know, it still has its niche applications, but picking up the Habois here definitely will take that away from Jayfeather and force them to be in a spot where they really have to try and figure out more of what's going to round out this composition. And as they're hovering over the Arachne, I have my fears of this Arachne transitioning into the later stages of the game, but it could possibly work if they allow for this Arachne to snowball. And, well, speaking of snowball, there's the Bastet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised they didn't log into Arachne. Bastet, ever since her change to her ultimate and her most of her kit, she's a very strong jungler, just deals out a ton of damage. It's kind of interesting. Into gods like Ganesha, especially, you can just silence her out and stop her from using her kit. I mean, her ultimate heavily relies on her being able to use her cooldowns, and if you have a Ganesh just silencing you out the entire time, that's a bit counterintuitive of a pick there. But we see the Colin come out as well, which is very typical of most souls in this league. They just love this pick a lot. He's a very good lane bully, you know, with that rage passive. Just it feels like in lane it's always up, and as a solo laner, I honestly hate that because he just seems unboxable sometimes.
And interestingly enough, we were speculating that this Habois was going to be in the jungle, but with this Robin pickup, it's obviously going to be going to Ghost here in the mid lane. So I'm very excited actually to see a very aggressive mid lane as well as a super aggressive solo lane, because it felt very passive. The game kind of lingered on for a while with not a lot happening. And again, with Jayfeather being back in the reins here and him having this Bastet, I'm beyond excited. I really am, because we had the Rat, we had the Jotun's Wrath, and as much as it's kind of a meme, I mean, going basically 20 minutes with having 709 player damage, and yes, I wrote this down because it was a concern for me. Yep. I'm hoping we see a massive change in that.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see, like, instead of 2.8k damage, we're going to see 28k plus from J5 possibly. I mean, it's going to be interesting, though. I mean, this Heap, I'm not surprised seeing Ghost play it. It's, again, just one of the picks you just sort of run at people with. You knock people up into your water hands, and that's basically half their health at most points in the game, and then you just shoot the crushing wave in there and finish them off.
So a character with basically 3 ultimates is going to be really fun to see. But again, as we transition into this game, AG Nox as well as Gaming Fan here on the desk, and we're going to hand it over to Jinx and to Viz as they're going to cast Game 2 again of Davies Delinquents versus Rats with Bats.
All right, thank you, Nox. Interesting to see the emoji getting through a second time, as mentioned before. I'm quite surprised that was let through. However, it's let through to the other team this time.
And now Gamer's like, I saw what you did with it, now let me show you what. It'll be interesting to see how Davies bounce back now that they have Jayfeather on the reins.
Yeah, and now seeing him in the hands of the Bastet as well.
With the Bastet. Bastet's, he's going to have a tricky time trying to get into that team with the Ganesha, Robin, and Hebo is surprisingly safe. Like Bastet dashes on him, Evo just ults. Ganesh silence.
Yeah, definitely. And I
Maybe-
think he will need to look into picking up a
Maybe a
anti-CC, defense item. Something mainly from that robe tree, definitely.
I love how like aggressive the mid jungle is on Rat's side. Rav and Hebo.
Yeah, because obviously we were looking at that Hebo thinking that was going to be a jungler pick. However, the Ravana coming out clearly changes that around.
Ghost's like favorite god is Hebo, so I'm not surprised he's playing that.
Probably most likely also going to see the lifesteal build coming out. That's very popular in the mid lane too.
Hebo with Bancroft's lifesteal boots and
So the Typhon's Fang or
Typhon's. I think Typhon's with him.
Yeah,
he'll go
Typhon's
like if he gets
more
poked
power
out,
option.
he'll go to one buff, throw his one out, and just heal right back up to full.
Yeah. Seeing the Huyi going back to Ratsubat, sorry, and obviously in the infamous Ganesha, I know in that Critical Mass plays that a lot. That's one of his go-to gods. I'm excited to see how that comes out. Sorry, but seeing the Odin pick up now, not too much of a worry for the other team. However, I think Jingwei only has her ult to escape the Odin cage, and Cullen's elite, but Yamoja can't get out either. So I don't know if they'll look to pick up a Phantom. I don't think they will. I don't think it's entirely necessary. However, it could be possible.
It depends how impactful the Odin is, and honestly, I don't think a Phantom is needed. Yamoja can survive very well on her own inside that cage.
Yeah, and also just if Odin's smart enough, he can also play around with Cullen, and when Cullen turns into rage mode, he is then unable to escape the cage. So that could also be another thing he could play around. Catch Cullen as well.
That kind of slows down their dive too. If you stop Cullen from just diving that back line, Whispering might just get another free game where he can just free cast most of the time. If he just has that,
because Scott's a much more passive god in that duel in with Jingwei.
I could see Whispering had a great performance on that Huoyu game 1. So game 2, I expect more of the same from game 1. A lot of this game though from Davies is gonna have to fall on J Feather. The impact he's gonna have versus what the Rat had for game 1 will be night and day. I want to see. We're just seeing how well he'll play.
I do like the emoji pick giving to her to help with some sort of pressure with Jingwei, helping with that clear being a little bit more potent.
Yeah.
However, I still don't think they're going to have as much aggression with the Huyi Ganesha combo, especially with that. Because Ganesha obviously uses his power of fate on the wave, turn of fate, sorry, on the wave, giving that 10% bonus damage. It's not as much because Huyi's ricochet does around 70 odd damage. But it still counts on every minion. So
and it'll hit the whole wave versus Jingwei.
Yeah, definitely.
Expect the early game to be somewhat passive, just how it was in game 1, until Bastet really likes to fight once she hits 5. I don't see
that bonus damage.
Yeah. Looks like Odin just dropped a ward and is gonna walk back away. Rat's kind of placing some higher wards up.
Yeah, looking to push something down there. Also, interesting to see the hogs coming out. So the hog comes out onto the support with for Davies Deliquents on the Yamoja. Didn't think it would be as necessary for them. However, with the Jingwei, of course, the slow clear she does have, I can see obviously being picked up, and the hog being used on the speed there by the Bastet too.
It looks like he missed his 2 and had to hog it.
Right.
Looks like
interesting to see Ganesha over in the solo lane here.
Kind of an odd start, especially if they're just...
Yeah, Yamoja's running to mid as well. Interesting to see the start, actually. Jingwei getting the level advantage, dashing into that Huyi there, and Yamoja prepping the Hebo a ton. He's still level 1. Was there some sort of... Because Ravana's still getting a speed buff. Was there some sort of invade we missed there?
Did Raven start purple? Did we miss something?
I think we did. I'm interested to see how that actually started out. I think he must have started on the left side, as all those buffs are gone from the jungle on the left side of the map. However, he just went to a speed now. Meanwhile, their mid lane was struggling at level 1 still. I think the Moses did start at the purple, her purple, because she must have hogged it. Oh, the Huyi damage coming onto the Jingwei there, pushing her, taking her health down to critical level.
I think going back to that start, what Rats did, I think Raven started over on the purple buff and cleared out left side jungle.
The lead coming out from Huyi, they've been quite aggressive. The percussive gusts are off the mark, unfortunately. However, they're looking like to get a gank off as they know that dive bomb is down. Bastet's coming in. Leap coming out because she has to leap, unfortunately, not the root. So she's only able to dish out damage without any CC. Emoji trying to get a stun off there as well. Just not happening.
A little bit of it, just a gank, just kind of relieve some pressure off the
Going to be Odin, the infamous third one coming out there, but pressuring him back. No surprise there, Cullen being the bully he is.
Colin's just a very strong lane bully. Until I think Odin wins that matchup later on in the game, but early game, Colin I think is unmatched.
Yeah.
With just his pressure. So Colin's walking.
Oh, I did slipping away there.
Kind of game going back
quite
normal.
recently in the support. Yeah, supports have returned back to dual lane.
Despite the odd start, there's only about
I was really interested to see the tensions there.
I don't know, maybe if they thought they could try to get cheese blue invade or something, but
could have been possible.
Either way, it just most of it evens out completely. I think Odin's about half a level behind, if that.
Yeah, as you see with the Ganesh, he picked up the horrific emblem there. I think that's what he's really focused. He must have had the slow to put onto the either Cucullin or the Bastet when she was clearing the buff. I wish she did have purification up, but she could have cleansed that slow.
I don't think Cucullin. I don't know how I like that with the Cucullin Ganesh. Their level 1 isn't. Not Cucullin, the Odin Ganesh. It's not the strongest level 1.
Yeah, I think they were looking for the pressure of the buff. I think that's what they were already looking for.
Kind of lost out. Now the horrific is still like a solid pickup even in the mid game. You can use it on the Emoja.
Oh, the Riptide there, pulling Hebo back in, but that's also another thing that Hebo, Atlas of the Yellow River, they're having that slow too. And I think they're both solo and level 5, just trying to beat each other up as much as possible.
Just slap each other.
The cage does come out there on the Odin side. The stun with the Raven shout. He jumps away, just managed to get out on this. Oh,
and there's the auto.
The spirit morph of sun there. Lucky escape from the sun there. However, Ravana's going to get over. She tries to ult out with the airstrike. He's probably too low to go back in. However, Ravana still has stuff up. I think he's looking to use it and catches her without it. Yeah, the Ravana catches the Jingwei. Jingwei being a little bit over aggressive there, managing, but it does cost her her life, unfortunately.
You see, Rats is also. I think game 1 they also dominate the ward game, and game 2 it looks more of the same. Are you just having sentries and vital choke points?
I think that Jingwei really wanted the kill because if she ulted, I don't know, she might have had a chance to just run or at least get the Ravana to ult her. However, she turned back to try and get that Yi because she probably just like wanted to accept a death there. But
she got turned and walked back afterwards.
Yeah. But going back to the point I said before about the Atlas of the Yellow River from Hebo, just the slow immunity for the Raiju and the Prana Onslaught along and the bouncing bubbles. They have quite a slow heavy team.
Yeah,
from the support, sorry.
The slow it'll give will be really strong. He can either use it kind of aggressively to help his team get in and out quickly, or he can use it just to stop teams. Like if Bastet leaps on him, he just uses that Yellow River, just runs on away. I just think it's really strong. Just the Hebo pick seems safe, surprisingly, with a Bastet on the other team.
And Hyper coming out there as well. The Raijin going for Redhawk going for the similar build he went for last time, getting that tier 1 spear from the penetration tree, the flat penetration tree, and to purple boots. Meanwhile, he went Mage's Blessing into the tiny trinket, probably just more for mana sustain, that catching Jingwei away there. I think Yamoja's looking to try and do something here. I think Jingwei's trying to bait some pressure from the Hui Yi, see if something can happen. However, I think Hui's noticed.
Yeah,
Yamoja's going to try and get some poke off with the bouncing bubbles. However, it looks like a counter gang's coming in here. Yeah, Ganesh and Raven are coming over. I don't think they're going to go for anything here. They pushed them back too fast. The tower.
Just gonna take that out.
Yeah, Moja's noticed though.
Looks like red team did get it.
Tried to steal that away, yeah, but the red team did pick that up there. However, I think that's given Bastet a golden opportunity to invade the Only the back camps, because unfortunately the speed buff and the blue buff aren't up, but still gives her a chance to take away some of that XP from the Ravana. I think she's waiting for that speed buff to spawn, but because of the way that Ratchet Bat started, obviously it just it kind of like took off the air. I think she was trying to like base that time off of hers, which has just come up recently, and because Ravana didn't start on his speed buff, that's obviously like changed the times up a little bit, so they're not similar. Ravana looking like he's being a little bit in the enemy jungle there, but baiting out the Raijin Thunder Crash. However, the Yomojo comes out there, caught the Dharmic Pillars and the Mystic Rush catches it. Damage takes her on the Prana Onslaught. Ganesha just getting out with just slamming health there. Yeah.
That was a good play from Rats, just locking down that Yomoja. The CC they have. She kind of, once she drops that ult, like she's trying to run away, but silence to knock up the dash.
Yeah, she tried to use that for self-kill, but she was caught in those Dharmic Pillars, not able to move very far at all. It gives the Ravana an easy setup for his ultimate there.
Looks like Jingwei stole the
wave. Yeah, pressuring that purple buff there takes it away from the Hu Yi. Too much going down in solo lane there.
They're just kind of farming, clearing.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised to see that the Odin managed to get a lucky solo kill on that level 5 there. Jingwei definitely into the Hu Yi. He just managed to get the mana to... Unfortunately, that last explosive bolt was just off the mark. That could have been a kill, unfortunately. Hu Yi manages to just slip out of that.
Is Scarred on PC? Is that right?
I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think the chance why he's still here. I think he's on console.
He's got to be kicking himself for missing that last auto, especially with the explosive bolts.
Flick there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the game's being a little bit quieter as it is. I mean, the Odin proxy and
game one.
So yeah, Jingwei managed to get the lead though. Oh no, there's both still level 9. A little bit of damage coming out there on the between the mid fights.
I think Rats is a little stronger in the.
Oh,
he called the
Jingwei dash with the stun, forcing the bleeds out of her. However, the return damage from Jingwei, she manages to catch him there. The airstrike damage is a lot there. The explosive bolts come out. She doesn't have that one there to help her out. Yomoja's arrived though. The Rebuke come out to trap him in. However, he leaps over to Godfrey, but the Godfrey just slice in. Very scary. He could have fallen to Godfrey there, but he did manage to slide away in time. Ganesha's made his way over, but can't really do much about his team being there. Nice for him to hold in there, that Hu Yi.
Yeah. Nice job for you just surviving there.
I think Ravana's coming over here to poke the Yomoja. Oh, a lot of damage comes out with the 10 Shadow Punch and the Prana Onslaught.
She'll just
heavy combo, yeah.
Get on out. What's your 3 called again?
What's who's 3? Oh, well, Yomoja's Riptide.
Riptide.
Yeah. Interesting to see. Like, I like how the Ravana is utilizing his early pressure a lot, especially at level 9, which I'm going to assume he has his Prana Onslaught max, which is 300 damage at the top end with level 5. Bastet ulting his looks to take out the Hu Yi. However,
leaping the wrong way.
The Razor Whip I think does catch him. But Hu Yi with that leap, the leap bait, taking it the opposite way.
Fortunately, that Bastet ult just double proccing damage, so strong. Honestly, I think Raven at level 9, wouldn't you have 2 points into your ult?
You could, yeah, it's definitely optional. I mean, sometimes it depends what you're going for. Like it's both paths are optional, yeah. Because don't forget, he hasn't really been looking to use his ultimate as his main initiation. He's just been going over and using a lot of code abilities. However, the blue team there, that being Davies Deliquents, taking the gold free just without interruption. However, Ratchet Bat's returning that with a Pyromancer if they can get that quick enough, and they managed to pick that up as well. Cullen just managing to get there, just not in time, unfortunately.
It's just a good awareness from Davies, just knowing like, hey, I just killed Hu Yi. They all went right. Let's just pull gold. No one's gonna show up. It's just very smart. No, Jay is a little deep.
Yeah, he is on the Bastet there. He's looking like he's in a little bit of trouble, trying to put some damage onto Hebo, but that crushing wave just does a ton of damage alongside the Warp and Water Sprout. However, the Blink Nirvana comes out and just managed to who you cancel as well. Comes into the as well there. The Suns do come out onto the Yamoja, but she's not to rip right away. The Darling Pillars come out to try and slow down the team. Oh, the nice silence stopping that Thunder Crash, and it does manage to take him out. A lovely play from the Ganesha with that O.
Ganesh just played that so well.
Yeah, lovely silence. Coming out to just cancel that dash because, obviously, I mean, I know it's like 2 years ago, but Raija no longer has those. He's vulnerable once he's teleporting in that short amount of time.
Looks like they're looking for the Jingwei now.
Yeah, Jingwei. Rui's becoming very aggressive with the airstrike coming out. Rui's took a lot of damage from that, unfortunately. Ronald managing to take some get some invade potential as well, taking away some farm.
Are gonna take that red buff away from.
Yeah, definitely.
Davies just getting punished for a little bit of out position by J Feather, just kind of thinking he was safe.
Yeah, just I mean, I think she's like I was going back to my earlier point where I was about to say with Ravana utilizing the early pressure. Meanwhile, Basset's been doing the opposite and just farming up whatever she can. I mean, looking at the charts, look, as you can see, I mean, the Bastet and the Raijin being the jungle in the mid, they just don't have, they're just scraping over 1k there. As opposed to the Hebo and the Ravana going over 2k. They haven't really been looking to fight too much.
No, not really anybody looking to fight too much, but I mean, that is with the comp. Like, you have a Raijin Bastet, they come online a little bit later, like around this level, around level like 12 to like 13, 14, they start to come online more once they get more abilities.
Oh, the Lee's come out again. Jingwei P2 come out. Doug going back to his tower. Oh, I think that was a lucky crit we just saw there from the Jingwei. Actually, does have Rage online. Pinging the Bastet leaps, catches him. So with the ult as well, the Guardians are fast.
How do you like that?
Very strong pressure. Ganesh look like he's a little bit out of position there, but just dashes back to his towers for safety. Looking like a fight coming in onto the Raijin as well. The Blink Odin ult as he's noticing the Thunder Crashes come out.
Onto the
escape. The Taiko drums does come out for the first kill, tries to push him away. The Darling Pillars.
Good Hebo!
Lovely fucking takes him out. Lots of damage coming out from there. I think Davies Link was in a lot of trouble here.
Davies is definitely in trouble. They're chasing the Bastet down. She's
Yeah,
gonna
the
be able to
Bastet's
leap away.
in a lot of trouble here. Getting chased by the Odin and the Ganesha. Does leap over the wall. Odin tries to follow. But I think she is going to live from that bonus.
She has that
from the
movement
leap
speed.
she gets. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it looks like Rats couldn't capitalize more on that pick by Red Hawk.
Yeah, lovely
like
combo from the Darling Pillars there. Catch it getting slow onto the enemy team with the Hebos. Power through that mid-battle corridor with the rushing wave. They're going to take that tier 1 edge. Cullen's going to try his best to try and stop them. A lot of damage coming through Ravana there. But, excuse me, but the tower just seemed to fall. Jingwei dashing in, being a lot. Oh, does catch him!
Catches the
Lovely play from
Hebo.
Jingwei there, just dashing forward with agility, getting a bonus power and movement speed to take them out. I think that might have been a critical hit, as she does have Rage online. It was hard to tell, but still.
Looks like
So
they're just going to trade T1 mid towers.
Yeah, they're going to trade 2 on mid towers there. But he's still looking to push left, he's on that out. The Raijin's heading over. I see a little bit of conflict between those two there. He Thunder crashes in and the Suns do come down onto him. Yeah, Raijin in a lot of trouble to get the Electro and the Taiko jump to come out, but it's not enough. He didn't have enough time to save himself. Bit of a risky move with the Thunder Crash coming in there. Hui just back just in time, so he doesn't get caught by the Yamoja or in the way. Oh, Bastet taking a lot of damage onto the open there, but the cage saving his life from all those cats. Oh, they did try to chase him afterwards, but
that was a very smart
Odin cage. Yeah. So those Bastet cats don't do it. Cullen ulting the wave there.
Kind of odd.
Yeah, the Ravana putting in pressure onto the Jingwei. She's going to try to dash out. The emergency return with the Darling Pillars again catch the Jingwei, allowing her to take immense damage at the slow and catch the Emerger too, and she just dies to the water spout and the water cannon.
And perfect timing to get that double kill too. Gold Fury's coming up in what, 20-15 seconds?
Yeah, I don't know if they had vision on it, so they are looking for it. So I think they do know that it is coming up very shortly.
Right now.
As you see Bastet and Raijin coming back, they might look to try and do whatever they can.
Don't have ult. I don't think they have a very good strong chance of defending this.
Ghost
on the Evo does have his crushing wave up.
Yeah, they are looking to take it slowly but surely here.
Raijin seems to be showing some
the
face.
Hebo in the Ravana zoning as a.
I think that's
Yeah, Ganesha and Hui taking that gold tree away. Water free. I think they decided they're not going to go for it. Bastet looking to get more farm in the enemy jungle instead.
Yeah. Ash with Bats bouncing back, playing pretty well.
Yeah.
After making some small mistakes, but
yeah, looking at, I mean, the builds are also pretty standard as Steam.
Yeah, most
Steam
builds
like
are
ADCs are pretty much looking the same. However, the Jingwei's gone for the Rage first, and the Hui's opted for the penetration option first. Just switch those two items around, I think.
I'm surprised both ADCs are still going for this crit build. I think the pin build's
Well, both ults do come out from both ADCs. Both are low here. They could it could be a trade-off here, and the critical strikes gets the Hui there. And very unfortunate for Hui. Bearing in mind he's got negate critical strikes, but I don't think he's hit by 1 to 3 seconds to allow that to help him out. I think Jingwei's just at that point now, level 16, where she's just smacking. She's probably got a lot of points into her too as well.
And she has 3 stacks in that rage as well.
Yeah. So I think that's 39% already. Critical strike chance just from that one item, and then with her explosive bolts, if she does have that max, that was an extra 20%, so 59%. Looking like the best lead coming onto Ravana here. Dharmic Pillar is super much trying to protect
She's stuck
him.
in the cage.
She did leap back into the cage, and the Odin does fall onto her. However, the Riven's Rebuke comes out to try and save her as much as possible. Raijin also gets collapsed on as Bastet walks towards the Raijin and gets the bird. Not the bird, but that was the Ravana rot. There was a Mystic Rush.
Yeah, that was.
Came out onto both of them. Applying that extra damage increase just to delete them. Odin's looking to apply a little bit of pressure here as well.
This Odin pick is just doing very well. Yeah,
them,
it's working super good. 2 levels up on the Coca-Cola and almost the highest level in the game next to the Jingwei.
Yeah, I think he's got max CDR there with 30% from his build and the damage onto the Jingwei. Look at him pressuring her out there. The blink coming out onto her. The damage might come out, but she's trying to lifesteal as much as possible. However, the Odin does take her down. Odin
It looks like
fire this game.
Rat's on fire.
Yeah, rats are on fire, Giant. Speaking of on fire, yeah, rats are on fire, Giant, right there. Yeah.
I mean, Odin's on fire. The rest of the team's on fire. I mean,
Odin he's just massive at the minute. He's level 18,
huge.
and he's got full CDR with a Genji Scarlet. Unfortunately, the Fire Giant does take out the Genji.
We're gonna need.
Oh, unfortunately, that's
I don't know if crit will hear the end of that one.
Oh, unfortunately, yeah. Fire Giant OP, man. No matter what minute it is. Very dangerous.
Fire Giant stronger than Ganesh.
Yeah. Oh, Hebo looking to.
Like Ghost is a little pushed up.
He's got a little bit. His mana's running a little bit low. Careful.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the faults with the lifesteal build.
One of the downsides of lifesteal.
Yeah, you got no.
Yeah, you got it right as I got it. That's probably the biggest downside of lifesteal build is just no mana.
Yeah.
You got to be really smart about when you press your abilities.
Yeah, I mean the only thing you do have, he does have the Mage's Blessing, the Hebo does, which gives you that slight MP5 buff for having 10%, each 10% missing mana, I think it is. And obviously with Bancrofts and Typhons, they do give like some flat mana to you on the items. I think Bancrofts is 150, Typhons is 200. So you're getting some, but you've still got no MP5, so you can do like, and on a god with Hebo, on a god like Hebo, sorry, with a 3-second cooldown on the 1, and you're going to be using that constantly during fights, that's a lot of mana at 80, with an 80 mana cost.
Now, I'm confused as, like, I was looking at, Ghost went into T2 Chronos, or... I'm surprised why he wouldn't go straight into, like, a Divine Ruin here with the Yamoja on the other side.
Yeah, I don't think he's been seen as that much of a threat. That's probably why he's going into... that could also be a Karen's coin for the extra 20% penetration.
It could be, but when you have... I think the stronger... I think going Divine Ruin here, even if it's not a threat yet, the healing will be a threat later on, even if it's not.
Yeah. Looking at the Raijin as well, Raijin's gone into the Pythagorean piece with the Spirit Desolation. Interesting to not see the Antil come out from him as well as the He.
No.
And Odin's also got Gladiator Shield, which gives him a little bit of sustain while he's fighting as well. And then obviously both ADCs have lifesteal with crit. Riven's Vic coming out on the crushing wave, just much trying to save himself. He gets caught by the 2 towers, but beads are coming out. Saving first on the Moonstrike here. However, the Rats with Bats do respond to the Umoja, pushing her back towards that tower, away from the team. Riptide come out trying to save her, but unfortunately it doesn't work. The Hui catches her. Before she's able to get another Riptide out. Bastet leaps in and does manage to catch the Hebo out. However, she puts herself in a very tricky spot here as the Ravana Mystic Rush does come out onto her. However, the 10-hand Shadow Fist off the muck, but in the back, the Hui takes out the Raijin, unfortunately. He falls down. Not a very good game for Raijin, unfortunately, this game.
Just kind of...
Quite very often, Bastet just manages to slip away here.
It looks like they should be able to push out this.
Look at that damage coming from the Hui autos.
I think this Odin's unkillable.
Jingwei having to force the beads out there to stop that stun coming from the... For Odin's new... I thought it was cool because there used to be Gungnir's Might, but I think it's something different. I think it's been slightly changed.
I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, still
It's
coming
like-
in, providing those that stun.
It looks like Rat's just gonna fall back. They
Yeah.
thought about doing Phoenix. They thought better of it. Might as well
Yeah, they
take
got the
farm
tier 2
off the
tower,
map,
yeah.
suffocate any kind of gold. They need to build more of a lead. Go for that gold fury. And there's still 2 T2 towers left on the map, and they have only about a minute left to fire, if that, maybe 40 seconds.
Yeah, I just...
This fire
Ryzen is suffering a lot. I just don't... I think the issue is just the fact that when he ults with that movement speed penalty that he gets, I think that's what's causing him to get collapsed on, as he's not able to use relics there either.
Usually
As
when
in,
he's
like,
gone
Aegis?
up to ult, yeah, he's not able to use any relics, and as soon as he goes up to ult, Ganesh just drops the
Sweeping
Dharmic
CC
Pillars
immune.
right on him,
Yes, you are right.
and he just dies as soon as he goes up in that ult.
Yeah, and also, like, with the
Where's the
ADC builds, ADC, no surprise, Jingwei, no surprise seeing a crit will come out for her, so that's it's built into her kit. It's what you see on most Jingweis anyway, but I do like it on, because if he's focusing on hitting the target that he's marked with the Golden Crow, the
He's gonna hit
crits
the
that come out from that is insane, yeah.
Like
On
5-6
squishes or
crits.
tanks, yeah.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous, as he's
Yeah,
got that
he-
execution online as well.
And more than likely, if he's marking whoever, Ganesh just goes up and roots,
Exactly,
knocks
no
up.
protections.
Yeah, they're just,
Or he's catching him with the Dark Pillars, yeah.
yeah, just. They just have very strong team fight.
And one thing I think that is a bit underrated from Ganesh's kit is that late game, if his team allow him to take that turn of fate and put it onto the wave, that 4 seconds of a 10% power increase is quite substantial. If they manage to utilize it effectively, especially if they're fighting inside, catch a few enemies in that.
Is very strong and very underrated in that late game. Most people think of it only at like the early level 1, level 2, trying to out clear.
Yeah, and depending on how Ravana's wants to use his ultimate as well, that 10% damage increase from all enemies hit in that. Even though it's a small area, enemies hit in that area do. Oh, look like a bit of conflict coming out of the fire giant pit. Bastard getting caught.
That Dharmic Pillars with the
to
Odin
lead
cage.
back, yeah.
Did you see what happened
Nice
to
to
Kakol
catch.
Talon?
No, I did not, unfortunately. I was focusing on the Bastard who had to leap out back towards the enemy team. Unfortunately, there's no escape for her.
Bastet just got
Lovely,
caught.
lovely zoning.
With the Dharmic
Zoning
Pillars and
tools
the
with those
Odin cage.
ultimates. Yeah.
He got hit by the Dharmic Pillars, left out an Odin cage, and landed on the other side of it.
Oh,
He got
no.
75%.
Look at that. The red team just delete that fire giant instantly. Emoja wanted
Yeah,
to try and do
Emoja's
something
caught
here, but
out.
she's in a lot of trouble. Meanwhile,
This
her
is
team
like
is
a
trying to take
dead
farm off the other
Emoja.
side of the map. But yeah, unfortunately, Emoja
Not enough
definitely going to
fight.
fall to the enemy teams here. So yeah, unfortunate from that side.
Rash just has like very strong picks.
They do.
This
I like
Odin
how
is
the
just
Ravana's got
stepped up.
spectral armor as well. Just because I think that he's noticed that the Jingwei is like the Jingwei's been doing the most on the team. If you look at the damage chart, look at it. Jingwei's up to
15K.
15k, and unfortunately,
That's
Bastet they're
spectral.
down there with 8k, and Raiden unfortunately not even doing as much damage as support with 4k. He's just not managing to get his abilities off. I don't think. As you just saw there, unfortunately, just out of range from the percussive storm. Not managing to connect with the Raiden as well. But linking with the Evo and the Sunbreaker, there's a lot of holes that just came up instantly at once there. However, unfortunately, Evo overextending there, he's getting taken out of his back. Bit of an unfortunate place to find the mid laner behind the enemy lines. Rivers of Good Dude managed to come out, doesn't manage to trust anyone. However, they are trying to fall back in. Jingwei left in, but just taken out by the Odin Birdbomb and the 3E autos. Just doing too much damage, especially with that fire giant buff. And the Ravana blinking into the emoji before she's able to out, catches her off. Takes her out. Unfortunately, I think blue team here, I think Davies Deliquents did see an opportunity for aggression, but they
On
took
their
it a little
last
bit too far out of the Phoenix. And Bastet's the last hope here, trying to do what she can with the leap. She's leapt back. Ganesh is falling very low health there, but the Hu Yi, the Odin at 50%, the Hu Yi at almost max health as well.
This
Falling
might
into
be
it.
game.
This could be game as the Bastet is the only one alive. There's nothing she can do without an ultimate as well. So much damage she can get off. I think she's looking to try and get that Ganesh, but Ganesh is looking to set her up, gets the pick up, but she doesn't have purification. The silence stops her from leaping, and she has been removed, and that's a free Titan now. They've got 8 seconds on the emoji coming up. This Dark Pillars coming
the
back
Dark.
up, and it just gets rid of it.
Well, just a
Titan
actually
falls.
all around clean set by Rasmus.
Lovely clean set from Ratso Bats there. They managed to pull up the 2-0, I think.
Just very smart play from them. All
Yeah,
around.
I think they
just-
had it from the beginning, really, didn't they? Like the Odin pick was very substantial.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Odin was allowed to do so much to the enemy team, and as we mentioned at the start, like Bastet would have managed to leap out, and same with Raijin. He managed to work around that and catch the leaps before he even ulted, so he just traps them in there regardless.
Oh, for sure. It
So
looked
he's
like
not
they just
unable to escape.
came in with a game plan. That Red Hawk's
Definitely.
their best player. We need to isolate Red Hawk and shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
And they executed that very well and just came out with the 2-0.
Yeah, I think that was the issue with the Raijin pick. As soon as he ulted, that was a prime time for the enemy team. I think they did coordinate that very well. Dive on top of him, as he's very prone. You got no protection, sustainability up there. He went for Pythags with Spirit Desolation, which obviously is an optional build, but you do also sometimes see Raijin bang across in the Typhon's build, the same build that Hugo went for.
Mm-hmm.
But he decided to go for I think he's noticing that he's quite flawed back. He went for the Pythags to try and help his Bastet out, who's just pure damage going into the fights. But yeah, good, lovely set coming out from Rats with Bats against Davies Deliquents, and we'll pass it back to the analyst desk. Back to you guys, Nox and Gaming.
Well, the Titan, the undefeated Davies Deliquents falls to Rats with Bats. And, I mean, again, same thing from game one, just Rats with Bats looked so much more synergized together. They were just working like a machine. That's really just what gave them the win there again.
Yeah, and Gaming Fan, I can't really tell if this was just really rough for them, for Davies Deliquents, based on the fact that, you know, they were going with a jungler that they don't typically have on the field, and then this game they decided to go back with Jay, and, you know, in his own right, he was doing well, but how that transitioned with the rest of the team, I mean, when you have a mid laner for a mass majority of the game who's 0-5-0, 0-4-0, like not even a single assist, for me, that's very problematic because we want to make sure that we're seeing that 3v3 fight. And it just seemed like from game one and in game two, we didn't see the mid-jungle support really synergizing well together with one another. And I think that Rats with Bats definitely took advantage of that very heavily. But again, I mean, it's not to say that Justin, he has been performing so well on a lot of junglies these last couple of weeks that it's really nice to see their team kind of come out with this 4-2 now in the league end here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that 3v3 is just unfortunate. Red Hawk, as we've seen in most of their sets for Davies Deliquents, is a big factor. And Rats with Bats, what they were able to do, they were able to completely negate what Scarred or Red Hawk could do, the two biggest players besides maybe J-Feather on that team. I mean, J-Feather, you know, he found those picks, but just wasn't enough. I mean, that Ganesha, like we said, was just brutal into that Bastet. And I mean, speaking of that Ganesh too, Critical Mass just finding these amazing ults of Cog9, just obliterating anyone frontline or backline with their ult combo.
So again, looking at this set here, Rats with Bats are going to take this one, a nice clean 2-0, very nice gameplay, and again, like you said, Davies Deliquents, who were undefeated, unfortunately, are going to have to take the L this week. We would love to see how they're going to bounce back going into this next week, and to see if we're going to see a little bit more out of their subs for their team here. Again, week 6, Davies Deliquents on the 1s and 2s. We do have a Wheelix doing camera work. Again, our casters were Viz and Jinx. Much love and thanks to them. And again, the desk here, Gaming Fan and Nox. And that's going to be our salute to you.